And we are coming up with also this coming week, tomorrow we have Module 9 exam. So you have an exam and then you have the formal lab that's due next week. And both of those things are going on here. And this coming week, we're going to start learning a little bit more about solutions. We're going to talk about concentrations today, which you learned about earlier. All right, so let's take a look at here, and we are going to have, wait a minute, let me see. Okay, so I want to go through an example of how to do titration, then we'll do one of the, we'll do some homework problems, okay, Emily? But let me figure out how to do this here. Okay, so there's the anthocyanin. So we're just to review, remember, and I saw lots of folks had some problems identifying acids and bases and also doing some of the, oh, hey, Zach, glad you made it. And also doing some, coming up with what the acid-base reactions are. There was a little bit of trouble there. So just to review, remember that an acid plus an ionic base, how do we know if something's ionic? You can tell me.
If it's a metal and a non-metal.
Right. So metal plus a non-metal gives you an ionic compound. So remember, a lot of times this is going to be an OH minus, is going to be a polyatomic ion in the ionic base, but not always. So an acid plus an ionic base gives you a salt, which is neutral, plus water. If you have acid and a covalent base, you're going to end up with two ions, a cation and an anion, one positively charged, one negatively charged. Now, something you need to keep in mind is that if you have an acid and you're coming up with the reaction equation, usually all the H's go to the base, go from the acid to the base. And then the other type of reaction you can have is a base plus water, no acid involved. And then, well, water sort of acts like the acid, and you get an OH minus plus a cation, whatever the base it is there. Okay, so remember, those are the three types of reactions. So you want to look and see, you have to identify what's the acid and what's the base, and then figure out, do you have a covalent base or do you have an ionic base, because it will affect the type of product that is formed. So here's this is the question on the homework that I saw a lot of mistakes with, so I wanted to go over this. And the question was, which substance is acting as an amphiproduct substance? So what's amphiproduct mean? I think everyone understood that term, but what does that mean? Zach?
It acts as an acid and a base depending on what reaction it's in.
Right. So when you're talking about something that's an acid or something that's a base, you always are looking at the reactant side of the reaction, not the products. And a lot of people said it was water. But what's the matter with that answer? Water can be amphiproduct, but in these two reactions, why can't water be the one that's acting as an amphiproduct? Rena?